Hello, it's Celia Towns, the Sporty Esquire, and I'm here and you're here because it's another episode of Working Women Wednesday, the series where I tell you what I wish I knew when I was an athlete, what I wish I knew when I was first starting my career as an attorney and starting out as an entrepreneur. And I'm sharing all these things because I want you to be better than me. I want you to live your best life. Last week, one of the things that we talked about was wellness. And we talked about, remember, if you don't remember, it's because you didn't watch, so go watch. But one of the things we talked about was our wellness and how we have to be more diligent about taking care of ourselves because we can't save the world if we're not healthy or we're not at peace, right? And so one of the things that I mentioned to you is that we need to be better at saying no. When I say we, I really mean we, because that's something that I really have to work on, is saying no, is understanding that I cannot be at every event, cannot have my hand in everything, and that's okay. But sometimes we don't know how to say no. That's our real issue, is that we're saying yes because we don't know how to say no. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips, 5, count them, of how you can get better at saying no. And let's jump right in because, I like to keep you here less than 10 minutes. So the first thing to the subtle or not so subtle art of saying no is to prioritize. I have realized that in the times in my life where I don't have my priorities set clearly is the time when I'm taking on too much. When I have my priorities together, I'm able to say no because I realize exactly how full my plate is, and I realize that I don't have the room to say no. I don't have the room to say yes. Or I realize that, hey, something on my list could come off and I could take on something else instead. That is really key, prioritizing. It shows you what you're saying yes to. So if someone asks you to do something and you have a full plate, for you, you're not just saying no to that thing, you're saying yes to all the other things on your plate. You're saying yes to your job, you're saying yes to your family, you're saying yes to your friends, you're saying yes to the boards that you serve on. That's what you're saying yes to. So it's more of saying yes to the things that are already important to you than saying no to the new stuff. It also gives you, prioritizing also gives you the why you're saying no. It explains, well, this is why I can't do that because I need to focus on that. So I need to focus on this. That's helpful when you're saying no as well, because sometimes you could just tell people flat out, well, I can't do this because I'm already doing that. That's especially helpful in the workplace. Yes, it's okay to say no at work. There's a way to do it. One of the ways to do it is to explain why you're saying no. The second thing that you want to do that really, really helps me is wait to give your answer. So say you get invited to an event. Say, let me get back to you. It allows you to really line up your priorities, and it allows you to check your schedule, to really think about it. I unfortunately overbook like crazy sometimes. And it's because when people bring opportunities to me, I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up. Instead of saying, okay, this sounds great, let me check my schedule and see if I'm available. When you do that, you won't be overbooking. You also show the person that you're potentially saying yes or no to that you are being thoughtful about it and that you're not just giving them a rushed yes or a rushed no. The third thing you want to do is you want to be firm in your no. Make your yeses yeses and your nos nos. When it's a no, it needs to be no. It doesn't need to be maybe. It doesn't need to be I don't think so. It needs to be no. Just like your yeses need to be your yeses. And you don't need to be apologizing profusely for saying no. Saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do X, Y, Z. That's great. But beating yourself up because you're saying no, or overly apologizing to the person that you're saying no to is not necessary. You don't owe that person this profuse apology. You don't feel bad for saying no. You have no reason to feel bad for saying no. that also, it just shows people that, or not it shows people, but it leads into the idea of you don't have to be nice all the time. You know, saying yes or no is not a thing about whether or not you're a nice person, okay? That shouldn't be your concern. Your concern should be, what are your priorities? Yeah, saying no might upset some people, but they'll get over it, because what's more important is you know, finding your balance and saying yes to things you need to say yes to. That's more important than making everybody happy, which is an impossible task. The fourth thing, which I picked this up from being an attorney, is saying no and giving an alternative. So very often a client will come to me and they'll say, well, we want to do something with this employee. And I say, that's cute and all, but that's against the law. And instead of just saying that's cute and all, but that's against the law and leaving it there, I come to them with an alternative solution. So I say, you can't do that, but you can do this. That's something that you could practice in your regular life. Say your boss wants you to stay late for work, right? But you already have obligations that you really can't break with your family, or it could even be with your friends. You can say, no, ma'am, I am not going to be able to stay late because I have prior obligations that I can't break. But what I can do instead is I can come in early tomorrow and work on it. So that you're still being a team player, but you're still prioritizing the things that are important to you. You're still exercising your own autonomy. And so that brings us to the fifth thing, which is preempting people. So what I'm getting better at is letting people know that, hey, I got a lot of stuff going on. So you might not, I don't say this part, I don't say you might not want to ask me, but subconsciously that makes them think about asking, right? So you let people know in your meetings at work, these are the millions of projects that I'm working on, you know, so that lets your boss know, well, if I add something else to her plate, it needs to be really, really important. Or maybe I'll only try to add a fraction of it to her plate. Or what I've found is that people are more direct with their asks when they know that I have a lot going on. So that's a really, or shoot, they might not be asking. But that's good for me. I mean, I think that it makes our jobs a lot easier at saying no when people just know that we have a lot going on. And they're more understanding when they are clear that you have a lot on your plate. So that's about it for today. Those are my tips on saying no, the not so subtle way of saying no. Prioritize, wait to give your answer, be firm when you finally give your answer, give them an alternative if that's possible, and preempt them. Let them know you got 1,000,001 things on your plate. This has been Cecilia Towns for another episode of Working Women Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something. I think you should share this video. Certainly like it. Give me your comments. And I always want your feedback. So if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like me to talk about next or what I could do better, send them my way. Thanks so much for watching.